Hello, welcome to the Goddess Breath podcast. I'm Dr. Mari Castle. Thank you for listening. Today, I'm bringing on the show a very dear friend of mine who happens to be my former husband. And I'm bringing him on for a few reasons based on his background, but also based on the growth and transformation both of us have gone through having had our relationship. And it's a little bit of a story that I will share when he comes on. But I just wanted to give you a little precursor and take a deep breath. I am. And like I said, I'm just really excited to have him on. So I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks again for being here. All right. Well, I have Grand Master Thibado here today. I'd like to introduce you all to, and I'm excited to have him on for a couple of reasons. One, because he's worked with children teaching Taekwondo for most of his life. And I just find that really commendable. And also that we were in a relationship for several years. And we'll get into some of the history on that, which isn't really the point of this podcast episode, but more so to bring the gifts of what we were able to glean. Obviously, we can have this conversation together and, we're still friends, but I'll get into all that. First, I just wanted to say, Pete, do you want to say hello? And also, Pete's going to lead us into the breath today because as a Taekwondo master instructor, he's done a lot of breath work.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for having me today. And I would go just a little bit beyond the description and call us best friends. And that's awesome. And I appreciate you so much in my life. And yeah, and our relationship has changed over all these 20 plus years, but it's just gotten more pure and strong. And that's pretty special. Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've been teaching Taekwondo since like 1975 or something. So that's really a long time, right? And I I've taught thousands of kids, promoted thousands of people to black belt, and the breath is a very important part of Taekwondo, much like Tai Chi or Qigong. And I would sometimes describe Taekwondo as Qigong, moving energy, and but more directed like with kicks and punches, but also just to invigorate yourself. You should never feel depleted after an hour-long Taekwondo class. You should feel invigorated because the breathing will just oxygenate your blood and get everything moving and flowing. And if you're depleted, then there's some mistakes in your breathing. So I spend a lot of time teaching uh, correct breathing techniques just in Taekwondo. So it's uh, it's very important. A lot of people are stressed and have concerns, and the first place that is affected by that stress is tightening of the chest, holding the breath, not breathing deep enough, chest breathing instead of belly breathing, and that adds to the tension. It doesn't. Uh, it just makes it worse. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you shared with me that you do this little breathing thing when you go for a run. I'd love for you to, uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll kind of tie that in with what I was just talking about with Taekwondo techniques because you breathe in on the relaxing motion, and when you're extending your punch or your kick, you breathe out and you finish the breath and uh, suspend it at the end of the technique, which tightens the muscles and it makes it more powerful. But it also helps to oxygenate your organs through that pressure in the lungs, helps the oxygen to move into the bloodstream. And also squeezing the rest of your organs, that all helps them get blood flow. And so when I jog, I usually do like 3 in breaths, one per step, and then I do like 4 out breaths, but they're suspended a bit. I pressurize by piercing my lips or just squeezing, and that seems to give me a little more endurance. And it's the same acclaim. What it does is help oxygenate your muscles and your bloodstream by pressurizing the lungs a little bit. So the it would sound like this if you're jogging, and I'm a slow jogger, but it'd be like 1 in breath each step, and then on the next 4 steps, the out breath would be like, and I'm just piercing my lips a little bit, still breathing out, but you can just feel it kind of pressurize your lungs a little bit. So if you want to try it with me, if
Yeah,
you're listening
let's
to the
do it.
podcast or might
Yeah,
want to
no,
do it,
let's
and
do
then
it together. We'll do it for about a minute. That's
okay, yeah.
okay.
So again, 3 in breaths, about the same timing of your pace that you're running, right? And I like, there's one other thing I want to say before that: the timing of your pace, there's so many things about our timing, like the number of breaths per minute that we normally have is about the same number of waves that roll in on the beach, on the ocean. And like we're connected, the planet is connected like that. So the waves in the ocean, our breath, if you're trying to match your surroundings and your breath, even just the timing of your footsteps with your breath, all of that can just really all kind of function together and bring us into harmony with our surroundings. And I think that's just a really cool thing. Like, 9 to 11 breaths per minute is kind of a normal amount of breathing. And that's how many, if you sit there and watch on the beach, there's about 9 to 11 waves. Doesn't matter if it's a windy day or a calm day, there will be about that same many waves. And it's nice to sit on the beach and breathe with the waves too.
Yes,
Isn't that the exercise?
absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. So here we go.
All right. So is it 3 breaths in?
3 in and 4 out because I'm piercing a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I feel my face getting flush.
Hey, that's
It really
blood's flowing.
it works. It really makes a
Yeah.
difference right away. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, even just going for a walk, it doesn't have to be on a jog or
Yeah.
sitting on the beach watching the waves and just like um like you often suggest, just take a few deep conscious breaths and
Hmm.
uh, on your morning walk or your day at the beach
Yeah.
or your jog or sitting at your computer.
Exactly. Yes, just thinking about it or driving, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes driving, we need to relieve some stress. So I have a couple of people that have reached out to me and said it's been helping them with relaxing and letting go stress when they're driving. So I think
nice.
that's really awesome. Yeah. Yeah, of course we don't want to be doing the deeper breathing, right? That you're familiar with. And yeah, I just kind of want to lead into that actually. That was how we met. We met from doing you came to deep process, which is the holotropic breath work.
Mhm.
Um, we, sort of connected right away. Actually, we were in a group of people that already knew each other. It was a like-mind Enneagram, for those of you who know the Enneagram personality type. And so we kind of sat together and had a lot of conversation. And then you reached out to me, and we kind of fell for each other pretty fast. So that's
Mhm.
the heart chakra space I'm after, right? Like really kind of describing all of that, and that's what happens. And then it's that, and I shared in the last episode, it's that lifting up, like you feel like so light and free when you fall in love. And
Mhm.
it's this time of year that also springtime can have that same feeling in our bodies as well. But so we married pretty quickly within a year after we met, um, and sadly, then we had a pretty deep loss. I'd say it's probably one of the worst things that someone could go through for certain. And losing a child, losing your son, Nikos, which kind of threw us both. Obviously, it would do that. And, just being a support, right? So me just really wanting to be support for you. You ended up being a support for me. I ended up having just a really bad time coping with all of that based on my own struggles with uh, wanting to be here. So yeah, and then, but we hung in there, and there's just a time then we had a space apart, and both had different relationships, and 10 years went by, and then we found ourselves sort of, you know, reconvening and saying, hey, well, let's see if this can work again. And, I just want to say that um, I think that our relationship has always been um, one of of a karmic sense,
Mhm.
and that um, that we love each other. You and I
Yeah.
both, we love each other right now.
Mhm.
Loved each other since we met, right?
Yes.
Obviously,
Mhm.
that love has become way far deeper than ever than since
Mhm.
we met, but way more meaningful as well.
Yes. Mhm.
Bringing a lot of depth. Um, and that's really, just an important thing to consider for people that are in relationships, and relationships end, and that they have to blame the other person, and that person did this to me, or my life is the way it is because of this person, or talking to their children in a negative way about their ex, which is just terrible. It's terrible. It's the most worst thing somebody could do is say bad things about a child's parent to them. So one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is because for a couple of things, I love that you're been working with kids, bringing positive impact to kids through Taekwondo for your whole life.
Mhm. Yes.
And then, us, kind of in that sacred marriage ritual, right? So that's where we're
Mhm.
at in the story of Ainana in the episodes, and that feeling, of lifting up. And then after, and Ainana and Dumuzi in the story are together, then there's some time goes by, and then there's the journey to the underworld that Ainana experiences, and then subsequently Dumuzi as well. But that that all is like a transformative process. And um if in the heart chakra space we're not thinking about all of these areas like forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Like unconditional love for
Mhm.
our children, but also for our significant other, for our family, and putting aside just small petty things sometimes
Hmm.
that make, no difference in the all overall picture of coming together.
Yeah.
It's about coming together. And
Mm.
that that's far more of a vibrational impact that you can spread to everyone in your world
Hmm.
than it is to say, oh, you did this to me, and now, I don't even want to say, the words like what
Yeah.
people, but that, even, sometimes even our children do this to us, right?
Hmm.
Or we do it to our parent. But it's so important to recognize that the bigger picture is really about loving unconditionally. And
Hmm.
as human beings, I just feel like that, that's one of the things in our Western civilization and our society today that a lot of people aren't able to kind of work through. They're not able to get past through that.
Hmm.
And I just really appreciate you in my life for being able to have that experience.
Yeah.
And
And taking the opportunity to go through process is so we talked a little bit before we got on about moving up from the heart chakra to the throat chakra. Expressing your grievances is fine, but in a healthy heartfelt space. And then third eye and crown, they kind of everything aligns if you are polite, kind, and have some etiquette about it. And this is where Taekwondo kind of training is, where there's an etiquette that we follow as like a student instructor relationship. They're free to express their fears and their concerns, and then um, but do it with a with a view of themselves that it's them, right? And then how they work through it. So there's this circle of learning that we talk about in Taekwondo, where you have an issue or you need a new skill, and then so you talk to your mentor or your teacher and say, "What can I do to solve this?" So they give you an exercise, and you do the exercise, and you practice, 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 and then you overcome that fear, and you've developed a new skill, and then you come back around that circle again, and then okay, what other fear is going to come up in this relationship or in this taekwondo training or in life in general, and identify the fear, talk about it, get some guidance, follow your breath, develop a new skill, and then practice, practice, practice. And every time it comes up, because it will, if you're going to work on something, it'll keep coming up. And then after you practice and get new guidance, then you've gained that skill, and then you'll kind of circle up through the chakras, and you'll get some insights from your crown. You'll get some be able to voice it better in your throat chakra. You'll get insights in your third eye. Like they're just there's such nice tools in the Enneagram and breath work and Taekwondo. There's many spokes uh, of learning to get to the truth. But it's so nice to be a mentor for kids. They and give them a little guidance and some proper direction around how to learn, how to gain skills, how to identify fears, because that's all anger and all those things are. They're just based on some fear, and it's hard for kids to recognize, or parents, or human beings in general. It's hard to recognize, but that's where the guidance comes in, and and then you know find a new skill, find a mentor, find a new skill, and then got to work on it. Practice. Knowledge alone doesn't fix things.
right.
What what it really takes practice, and that's why, like breath work is a practice. Not you go do it once and then you're all better and you're healed. It's a practice.
Right. And I think that, for me, today's day and age, more and more people are willing to do the breathing practices. which
Hmm.
is awesome. But
Yeah.
just kind of going back to what you're saying, also that, and this was something I had written in my book, that, you know, we as human beings are one of the species on the planet that has the capacity to love so tremendously and have compassion for each other. But then we get hurt, right? Somebody hurts us. And how do we react to that, right? Or how do we heal that? And through forgiveness is one of the ways. But sometimes people struggle with forgiveness. So, you know, it's not so much. So what I wrote in my book is, you know, that it's like that peeling away of the layer. So just comparing to what you just said
Hmm.
about going through the practices, you know, taking it one step at a time, continuing to take a look within, right?
Hmm.
Not always having the external perspective, and peeling away one layer at a time, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Peeling away where we're at, where what we can handle, what we can allow to, when we, you know, have the scar or the like a sore, you know, and we
Rip the scab off.
yeah, right. Like what can we handle? And everybody should be at where they can be, you know,
Hmm.
what feels right, with boundaries and all of that is so important. But that it doesn't have to mean it's the detriment of losing relationships with people. And, you know, that's so important to have people in your life that have known you for so long and,
Hmm.
um, and see you, right, for who you are and where you're at and know what you've gone through your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't help but to have compassion when you do that. When you know people for a long time and you sit back and go, take a look at your own hurts, but then go, oh my gosh, how are they feeling? Like if I feel this, hurt, imagine but how other people feel. Like we're all just the same. And that point of compassion when you're looking at others and feeling like, you don't, I wouldn't want anybody to hurt like I've been hurt, you know. And so that really opens up that heart space. And then it takes a little investigation to be able to express it. I'm not a typical um, man. It's difficult to express feelings and stuff, but I've worked on it, practiced. It took a lot of work for me to get to a point where I can express my feelings without projecting, without blaming, without and yeah,
Yeah,
so it's great
expression,
work.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that uh, it's about not taking it so personable, right?
Hmm.
And it's about accepting people where they're at.
Yeah.
And I know as a instructor, as a teacher, that's definitely a really important aspect to
Hmm.
have, you know, holding space for people in that manner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a certain level of I'll just call it empathy for now, but if I have a classroom of kids and they're all training, and I can tell if a kid is scared or if he's proud or brave or afraid. I can tell just by the energy of it because I've just been doing it so long, right? And people on the sidelines can't really tell, but I know. And then just a kind word or a hand on the shoulder and go, you did all right. Don't worry. You're safe here with me. I'll make sure you're all right. Let's give it another try. Give it another shot. And that can just help so much. And I'm talking about athletics right now, but that's so easy to do in a relationship too, or just in mentoring kids or children, and just being empathic, not barking at them and telling them, they should be like this or like that, but just a simple hand on the shoulder, a loving look, and some space for them to talk. You mentioned Nikos. I'll just bring it up now. It was a suicide. So that it's rampant right now. Kids. and suicide and veterans. And uh, uh, the best thing is just give them some space to talk and really listen. Sit and be with somebody. They don't need you to tell them what to do or how to be. What they need to do is have an ear and an open heart. And you can just see people melt in front of you if you find the key, their key, to what allows them to sink in, feel your empathic energy, and then their shield goes down, and they can say what they're really afraid of, and it doesn't heal instantly, but it gives them a little opening to begin the conversation and to breathe a little bit, drop their shoulders, and
Yeah.
that's probably the best coaching you can do is just take a couple of deep breaths with them, right?
Yeah, and I I'm glad you just sort of went right into that because that's what I was going to ask you is what advice would you give for people, for parents or, people that know somebody that's going through that really tough time. And yes, as a Taekwondo instructor, I'm sure you've come across kids that were really struggling and
Mhm.
can see it and you don't want to necessarily call it out but just be um like you said, have some empathy and really
Yeah.
kind of just move their energy along, right?
Hmm.
Move their energy along. So yeah, working with the breath, connecting with the body is a good thing to do for sure.
Yeah, because they freeze up and they get all tense and they're having like an anxiety attack, and
Mm,
you just, you know, pull them out of the tension right there. I mean, maybe out of the ring or out of the to the side, and just breathe with them, which is even better than telling them to breathe. Like, here, breathe with me. One more deep breath, and you can see them calm down. And then when the anxiety goes away, the tension goes away, the tears sometimes come, sometimes they end, but that's just waves of what they're processing, and
yeah.
many thousands of times had kids freak out first time trying a new pattern or being in front of a group or sparring or you know trying something hard and falling down, and they're embarrassed or but when they learn that um, it's okay and to breathe through it, then they gain that skill and they can use it, if they're being bullied or if they're being picked on or if they're afraid of a test, or
Mm,
a school assignment or something. And
yeah. Yeah.
a couple of deep breaths can really change your view, your vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Um, so I know we could go on forever, but I was thinking that, yeah, just sharing, that we gave it another round, right? We
Hmm.
tried.
Yeah.
We put our best ditch effort, or whatever the saying is,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I feel like that was so important for us both to do that. And then
Hmm.
to also come to terms to realize that, what our relationship is being best friends. And
Yeah.
that's okay too, right? To
Yeah.
have that immense love, uh, be it romantic or, just unconditional. And then to continue to have relationship and not have it severed. And it's not an easy thing to do in today's age, but I'm very grateful for it. And I know you and I have talked about this
Yeah.
a lot.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm just really grateful for that. And I just want that message to be out there that it's possible to have relationships ongoing with people, even if it means that you're not together anymore. And
Hmm.
especially if children are involved, then that can be even more of a reason to work on doing that, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be petty and it doesn't have to be blaming, and it doesn't have to be snarky and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
It can be still just, out of love for the betterment of the whole.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and not to say that you and I didn't also go through our own processes in the midst
Oh,
of all of that. We both went through
mhm.
quite a bit, a lot of loss for,
Yeah.
once you have a loss as immense as losing a child, I think any other loss, even if it's um, like us not being together anymore,
Yeah.
can like bring it all back on, right? It's
Yeah.
that sense of like a big wave of like, oh gosh, this again, it's grief.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another peel of the onion.
yeah,
Getting another layer deeper. Yeah.
yeah. And so thank you for continuing to do some inner work and taking a look
Yeah.
within.
Thank you for the unconditional love.
My pleasure. Yeah, well, I think this is a good place to close. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I appreciate you so much, Pete.
Likewise. All
Uh,
right.
love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right. I hope you were able to get something out of that interview with Pete, Grand Master Thibado. And I am next episode going to share with you about how Ainana has, again, here's a call. She hears a call again. And this call is to journey to the underworld. And this is part of life as well, challenges, right, that we go through, that we have to take a look within. So I hope you can join me for that next episode. And thank you so much for listening. Be well. Blessings.